Hi, I'm Patrick Stewart, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Welcome to the Broadway.com show, your weekly guide to the hottest headlines on the Rialto, or as we like to think of it, that awesome video Broadway actors like to retweet. Let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Mark?
The new musical written by 16-time Grammy winner Sting will sail onto Broadway next fall. The Last Ship, which tells the story of a failing English shipyard whose workers come together to build one last vessel, will brave the seas on Broadway in the fall of 2014 after a world premiere in Chicago. John Logan, Brian Yorkey, Joe Mantello, and Stephen Hoggett are on board the creative team, so this is one ship that you should definitely try to stow away on.
High-flying Pippin star Patina Miller is swinging her trapeze all the way to District 8. Yep, the dystopian film series The Hunger Games is enlisting this Tony winner to play Commander Paler in Mockingjay Parts 1 and 2. Miller, who has never appeared before on the big screen, will play a pivotal role in the blockbuster franchise alongside Hunger Games stars Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson. Way to go, Patina! And may the odds be ever in your favor.
On September 19th, Broadway welcomed Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet back to the boards. Starring Orlando Bloom and Condola Rashad as the tragedy's famous star-crossed lovers, director David Laveau's contemporary revival ends the play's 36-year absence from the Great White Way and also marks the New York stage debut of Bloom. We caught up with the Lord of the Rings and Pirates of the Caribbean star on opening night to ask him how he felt to take his first Broadway bow.
I feel fantastic. I feel very lucky, fortunate. I feel kind of amazed and bewildered. I feel like I could melt into a puddle on the floor at times. But actually, I'm most excited that, you know, it's 2013, and after 36 years, we've brought Romeo and Juliet back to Broadway.
Ready for some big Sutton Foster news? The two-time Tony winner stopped by Show People this week to chat about her new gig at Cafe Carlisle, sporting a little bling on a certain finger on a certain hand. Yes, the Broadway favorite is engaged. So who's a lucky guy? Well, Sutton isn't saying for now, only revealing she met her fiancé while living out in Los Angeles. Hey, we like a little mystery too. Congrats to you, Sutton. And you too, Mr. Whoever you are.
Hide your bunnies because there's a new West End show coming and it will not be ignored. Esteemed director Trevor Nunn is bringing a stage version of the 1987 blockbuster Fatal Attraction to London next year. The erotic revenge thriller about a yuppie lawyer whose one-night stand turns into a living nightmare famously starred Michael Douglas, Glenn Close, and Anne Archer. The play will feature a script by original screenwriter James Dearden and most likely a seriously steamy elevator scene.
Hi, I'm Harvey Fierstein, and you're watching the Broadway.com show. Just in case you didn't know.
Kristin Chenoweth has made no secret of her desire to headline a horror movie, and the Tony winner is reportedly in talks to co-star with Jennifer Lopez in The Boy Next Door. But we've got a bigger idea. Kristin should get top billing in a high-profile horror movie remake. See if you agree with our dream casting in this week's High Five. At number 5 is Scream, the 1996 hit that begins with a terrifying phone call to Drew Barrymore. In the remake, we'd root for Chenoweth to outsmart the dreaded Ghostface. Coming in at number 4 is Misery, the 1990 chiller about a super scary obsessive fan. Pick up that butcher knife, Kristin, and follow in the footsteps of Oscar winner Kathy Bates. Hitchcock's The Birds is our number 3 choice, with Kristin taking on the role created 50 years ago by blonde beauty Tippi Hedren. Swarms of killer birds are no match for our heroine. We hate to think of Kristin giving birth to a demon child, but she'd be awesome in our second place choice, Rosemary's Baby, with or without Mia Farrow's 1968 pixie cut. And in first place is Bride of Frankenstein. The lightning bolt wig is reason enough to cast Kristin as the monster's true love, played by Elsa Lanchester in 1935. And we'll keep the tagline, "She's alive."
Last week, stars of the stage and screen came together to celebrate the opening night of Romeo and Juliet, a classic tale about the lengths people will go to for love, including stalking, climbing onto balconies, shotgun marriages, taking drugs that put you into a death-like coma for 2 and 40 hours, and well, we all know that last part. We asked the show's guests and cast what's the craziest thing they've ever done while pursuing a crush. Here's what they had to say.
I wrote a note in a library and tossed it way across the library and told the guy that I was having eyes for, "Are you going to be the aggressive one or am I?" Then I found out he had a girlfriend.
Well, the wildest thing I did was ask my boss to date his daughter. Yeah, it went well.
School, I mean, I did one of those little letters, when I was in grammar school that says, "Do you like me?" Check yes or no. Ooh.
When I was younger, there was a guy who I had a really crush on. He was the youngest PA on my mother's set, actually. And I used to, not so coyly, walk back and forth outside of his office as if he didn't notice.
I saw her in a restaurant with another man. And I went across to the table and I gave her a note with my phone number.
Make babies? Does that count?
I guess proposed. So there it is. Oh man, shave my pubic hair.
Hi, I'm Chita Rivera and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Get ready for the Broadway Smackdown. Last week we asked theater lovers to pick between Janis Joplin or Carole King and whose biomusical fans were more excited to see this fall. The results are in, and Carole King won the battle of the music mavens with 80% of the vote. Now onto this week's showdown. Two-time Tony winner Patti LuPone is going to be all over television this winter. LuPone is co-starring in the latest season of American Horror Story Coven as a holy roller who goes head-to-head with Jessica Lange, and she'll also be on the upcoming third season of the HBO comedy Girls. So what we want to know is, which TV show are you more excited to see Patti LuPone on, Girls or American Horror Story? Tweet your vote to @BroadwayCom with the hashtag B'way Smackdown, then check back next week to see which LuPone role comes out on top.
This week's awesome tweet comes from Justin Matthew Sargent, who just finished his first week playing Broadway's web-slinging superhero, Spider-Man. Justin writes, "There's a couple of little Spideys in the audience tonight in full costume. Take that, Avengers. Hashtag man ovaries aching." Hey Justin, we have the perfect solution to this problem. You just married the love of your life, Celine, this summer. Now it's time for you guys to get down to business. You'll have little Spideys running around in no time. Follow this headliner on Twitter @JustinMSargent.
This week's Hot Shot brings together two Miss Americas, newly crowned beauty queen Nina Davallori and the Trip to Bountiful star Vanessa Williams, who won the title 30 years ago. Both lovely ladies represented New York in the pageant and both were groundbreakers. Davallori is the first Indian American and Williams was the first African American to wear the crown. Broadway.com's Bruce Glick is headed to the Stephen Sondheim Theater to capture this beautiful moment.
Thumbs up to the captivating Broadway revival of the Glass Menagerie. This play, which premiered at Boston's ART, is even better than its out-of-town buzz suggested. John Tiffany's beautiful production is bolstered by a quartet of stars giving pitch-perfect performances. Zachary Quinto, Cherry Jones, Celia Keenan-Bolger, and Brian J. Smith are on top of their game, and we commend the company for pulling out the humor in this tragic family drama. This is one limited engagement you truly do not want to miss.
Thumbs down to the billing at the Marquis Theater. Have you seen the front of house there, which boldly displays Il Divo's show A Musical Affair, and then barely promotes the featured singer, who just happens to be uber Broadway diva Heather Headley? Do we need to remind the world that this is a major homecoming for the Tony and Grammy-winning star? Il Divo, we welcome you to Broadway with open arms, but please treat our divas with respect. Heather Headley's name should be in lights, period.
Liberace will finally make his Broadway debut next year as the subject of All That Glitters, a lavish new biomusical starring Three's Company star Richard Klein. These days, the over-the-top star who died of AIDS in 1987 is quite the center of attention. The HBO film Behind the Candelabra swept this year's Emmys with a whopping 11 trophies. From managing to be the toast of the town on both coasts from the grave, you're our star of the week, Lee, and yes, we know you're watching. I'm sure the Wi-Fi up there is fabulous.
Thanks for watching the Broadway.com show. This week we say farewell to Kiss and Tell, our backstage video blog led by First Date star Krista Rodriguez. In her final episode, Rodriguez and company gave the vlog a fond goodbye with a little musical number. Check it out here and we'll see you next week.